Right, we're going to continue on with this trailer. Just going to go ahead and pie cut this out a little bit, drop the back down. We're going to cut here on this bumper. I'll get you guys in frame. Going to cut here on the bumper. We're going to move it forward to where the yellow mark is, which is I think 25 feet. I don't know. I had it figured out, but we'll look into that again. So I'm going to cut it to there and move the bumper so the back of it's right to there. We're going to use this to support, even though it's thinner metal, which most of this trailer is. We're going to weld that sucker all the way around in the back, and then we're going to put something on the back edge to make it stronger, like so that when you put a car on there, again, the weight is going to be about right here. It's not going to be in here. We're not going to be carrying anything that has weight in the middle. That's not going to happen on this trailer. It's only going to be right in here. So that's where all the weight's going to be. So it's right near the end. So it's not going to need that thick of steel. If we were going all the way through the middle, then that'd be different. And plus we're going to have all that wood. The wood's going to make it much stronger once we put that on. And I got like 12 gauge screws for the thing, so that's going to be part of the structure of the wood is, you guys, so just so you know. So anyway, we're going to move this forward. Going to cut the ends off, or cut these off the frame here, and we'll probably use the end pieces on the outside for the license plate and the lights and stuff like that. So we'll use that. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I mean, just continue with this all the way back. The only thing I worry about is this getting around the corner. It's very narrow here. It's kind of hard to get around the corner. I've got a couple ideas on that, but we'll have to look into that. So anyway, let's get on with it. So we got right now, we got a winch. Let's check out this winch. All right, I was going to look at the one with the solid steel cable in it. But they're discontinuing that, and I was just kind of going over maybe why that is. So why would you want the rope versus a cable? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of one of those cables breaking, but they do sometimes. You might be on the wrong place, and man, if that sucker breaks, or if you're using a chain breaks, it can kill people. So I think what they're thinking is this rope would hurt if it did break and you were near it, I'm sure, but it might not kill you. So the only issues that I'm thinking about with the synthetic, they call it synthetic rope, okay, is it could get chafed on something, and versus a cable might handle a little more of that. Again, they're going to be discontinuing the cable. I was going to get the cable, but because the reason is when I go back to the end of the trailer, so this is going to be mounted in the front here. So when I go back to the end of the trailer back here, it's going to go over the edge, right? Well, it can get chafed on that. So I might end up putting a roller on there or something like that. So share your thoughts on that. I haven't got to that yet. So, and that way, if it did break, it's 10,000 pounds, you know, and you apparently, I talked to a couple friends of mine that have trailers with winches on them, and they start out with like a 4,000, thinking, well, 4,000 pounds, I got a 4,000 pound vehicle, you know, pull it up on here. Well, it doesn't really work that way. So they were like 10,000. I was going to get 13,000. Just to outdo my buddy. My buddy has a 10,000, so I was going to tell him, nah, I won't outdo you. I went to the 13. But this one was available for a sample for us to show you guys. So, and I think 10,000 is more than enough for what we're trying to do. Let's just go with 2.5 degrees. We're gonna raise this up 2.5 degrees, hold it with C-clamp, and just cut a pie piece out of here, put them together, and see where we end up. Got these on here. I had a bit of a gap. I tried it 2.5 degrees, and it was like, it only went like 2 inches, and I was like, man, I would go more than that. I went 5 degrees, and it went way down. So anyway, but what I did is I measured from the ground up on each side, and whatever I lowered this side, I lowered that side the same, so I know that, you know, because I don't have a level place to put this thing. There's no place level, so I've just got to, I measured from the ground up there, and I think, I don't know what I went down, 5-6 inches, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so here's what I'm doing now. I'm lopping off the corner off of this, because then that's exactly 20 feet right there. And then I'm just doing it like that, so that my next piece will flow right in. Playing it by ear. I really don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet with all of this. I don't know what I'm going to do with the back yet. I don't know how I'm going to put that on. I know I'm going to put that up there, but I may cut it off straight. I don't know. I'll look at it and see what looks good. And then, yeah, maybe I'll shorten it. I don't know. But I want to get, I was thinking maybe have the ramp. This, I'm just using this thing to, this is not going to be on here. This thing's way too light duty. So, I'm going to put, I was just using that to kind of look up here and see where how the ramp angle is, and then how long to make them from there. And so if it lays on here, it's a really nice angle. So I don't know, maybe I'll put it down lower. Maybe I'll put a 2-inch piece on here. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll make it so it kind of goes up at an angle across there. I don't know. Got a lot of options. That's why I left that extra room there. I 5, 10, 15, 20. That's 5 feet. I'm a little short. If I have to go down and buy a whole nother stick, so it's not worth it. So I'm going to try and figure out something that'll work. Go across there. Maybe I'll put an angle iron piece. I don't know what I'm going to put. We'll find out later. But I'm just going to weld this in. Continue on welding. You know, I had to fill, like I said, a big gap here. I had to use an extra piece of metal on that one. That one was a little extra wide, so I put a piece of metal in, made sure I got a really good penetrating weld all the way up on frame. I want to make sure it's not going to collapse. The other thing I was thinking I might put is an angle iron right along here. Be like a gusset. That wouldn't hurt. And I know that I'm going to put some sort of plate over that, so I get more area of weld. This will help too, being up at an angle. Going up at an angle like that will help. I'll clean that up. I leave a bit of a gap on everything, because if I have a gap, then I'm filling it, and then I don't have issues with. That's why my welds are so big and so ugly, because I'm doing big fat welds on there to make sure that it's going to be really strong. I don't want to break there. I mean, if it's going to collapse or something, collapse the metal, that's another issue. I know we won't have that problem, because our tires are going to be right here. I measured it out. This is where, let's see, the outside of the tire will be like right here. This, the center of the tire's right there. I mean, perfect. So anyway, get on with it. All right, so take a look here. So we got a really short span here. So I got 2x2. That's what I had laying around, so I went with that. Real short span. You know, the tire can get onto that and be okay. Remember, the tire's going to be right here, right near the end. So what I'm thinking about doing maybe is just gusseting these two together. That will even help that all strengthen up, because the wood's going to end right here and start new pieces going back. Okay, so I've got the 2x2. Take a look here. I've got, trying to figure this out here. So I've got this 4x4 100 thousandths. It's pretty good size. I mean, it's pretty heavy. You know, we were looking at it and my buddy says, "Oh, that's too thin." And I'm like, "Dude, that thing's pretty heavy." And when it's welded in, it's going to be very strong. So it's welded to 100 thousandths, the same thickness, 100 and whatever, 105. I don't know. I measured them both. They were both the same. The frame, bottom frame piece. So I've kind of got a short piece here. I don't know, I just get 5-foot section, so I've got a little bit of 16 gauge left. The shorter, the thinner stuff. So again, both of those are thick. This is thin. I ran out of the other, so I used a 1x3 on the bottom. It's a little more welding to do, but I didn't have to go to the store. So I've got and a 2x2 on top of that, both thin, 16 gauge, and they're on top of that 100 thousandths gusset below that. So that'll be plenty strong. And I do have some 14 gauge 2x2. And I've got that one's a 16 gauge, or that one's a 14 gauge there too, the thick stuff. So I'm gonna have the thick piece going across here, well, in the two thin ones, but it's also going to be on top of this. So I think we'll be fine. I think I'll put it right at the very end. Just trying to figure out, and I think I'm just going to leave it tilted. I think it's all right. It doesn't look weird or anything. I thought maybe it looked weird, like it was tilted this way, and it would look kind of weird. If I made it straight, I think it'd look even more weird. So I'll just leave it like that, weld that in, and then the sides, I don't know, I guess I'll go with, like I said, I got 2x2 16 gauge, and maybe I'll just put some of those in here in the back. I'm not sure. I've also got this 2x3 16, or no, sorry, I got 2x2 14 gauge, and I have this 16 gauge 2x3. So I could use that in some places and maybe double them up or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out as we go. See how much material I got. So I'll try and use it whatever I got first. So I don't have to go out and spend more money. Okay, but I don't want to make it hodgepodge either. So we won't be doing that. I've still got some touch-ups to do here. That's what I'm going to do in the back. I think I'm just going to put the 4x4 going out on the top. I don't know. I think so. It'd look right then, because it would be tied into the bar, this bar, but it's not going to be. It's going to hang out on the bottom a little bit, so I don't know how that's going to work out. We'll just have to see. A lot of welding on this one here because I had all those extra pieces in there. A lot more time welding, so that's a drag. But yeah, I got these cut out for there. Let's see. This one will go right there, like that. And then that'll help strengthen that up enough. I think that's enough. I don't think I need anything else. Like I said, we're not putting a ton of weight on this thing, so a little extra something there. And it's got 9 inches of frame. So, and this one goes up at an angle, so you get a little more weld. Plus we got this one here hooked in. I'll probably put a gusset here, some in here somewhere, in the middle, maybe somewhere over there. And then that'll actually help too with that frame, so I don't think we'll have any issue. Right, we're still working here. Been using the plasma cutter, cutting pieces. Here's what I ended up doing, if you guys want to see. I ended up using the same materials I used here. Well, funny thing is, I bought this as a rim, okay? And these I bought regular price. These were at the place I normally go is called, I think it's United now. It used to be Riverside Ornamental Iron Supply. They are way cheaper than everybody else. So these were like 70 bucks a piece there. At the other metal supply, they wanted $140, $138 versus 70. So it's like just about half price on every piece of metal from there. So if you ever want anything Riverside, it used to be called, if you look that up, you'll find it. I think it's called United now. I don't know the actual name, but they had to change ownership. Just some things went down. The old owner was really cool. It's really sad that he ended up having to take it over. But the new people are doing exactly the same prices, exactly the same everything. So anyway, here's what we got here. You got those welded in down there. That's a piece of angle iron, not just flat steel. So it goes underneath and really makes it strong. Then I've got these 4x4 pieces from the bumper. I went ahead and moved those to the outside. I'm going to cut in taillights on there. So I'm going to cut in taillights. I couldn't find a piece of rim. I'm going to put a piece of angle iron over the top of this. This is thicker steel, but I still want a little more for the ramps to hang on to, because I'm going to I just moved this one out here temporarily just to see ramp length and stuff like that. But see how those are flat? You can't have a ramp like that with the car. And what I'm going to do is put a U-channel here and then another piece of U-channel and have them walk together. That's what I think. Instead of some guys put a flat bar, piece of round bar in and then hooks. I don't know. I think I'd rather have the whole thing hook on there. And then it ties into the whole strength of it all the way across. And so I got to weld this one in. You know, it's just a lot of cutting. I haven't been filming all this stuff. There's just so much little pieces to cut. I got some flat bar for here. I'm just going to throw these over here, weld them in. I'll show you what that looks like when I get that done. All right, guys, so check it out. This is how it's going. Again, this is not the ramp we're going to use. I'm just using this to figure out some stuff, and we've got a downhill slope here down to the ground. So this thing would be about right here, I guess, right up there. So it's not too much of a transition. But I should have got 24 footers. I don't know if they did have them. Should have got 24 footers because I've got 20 foot, and that means I can only make a 5-foot ramp. So anyway, here's what I ended up with in the back, and I'll make it work because it just all depends on how high I have the tongue. I could raise this thing way up high when I load and get it down lower in the back. There's tons of different ways to skin the cat, right? So I put on this 1/8 inch piece of angle on the top here. That's what I ended up with, because I was thinking putting it upside down. I thought, well, shoot, just put it that way, and then I can have my ramp hook on there, and then I'll have my wood up to, you know, with a little bit of gap right here. So I'll put the wood on like that. So yeah, it'll end up just right. based on my lumber calculations and everything, it'll be perfect. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll leave a little gap there, make it so I can hook the ramp on. It's not going to really hold much weight. I mean, you've got 1/8 inch angle, 1.5 by 1.5, is that? 1 by 1. Okay, we've got 3 inches of steel, 14 gauge. We've got 100,000 square tubing under that. Then we've got this thing here. This is 3/16 plate in the back. Okay, and that's tying in that to the frame, this to the frame, this to this. That is like the Jesus point right there. Okay, so when that ramp's hooked on there, that sucker ain't going anywhere, because the weight's going to be roughly right here. It's going to be about, this is where the ramp's going to be, right there. Okay, it's about where the ramp's going to be for the bucket truck. Maybe a little bit narrower for a Beetle, but that's lighter weight, so it doesn't matter. So that's about where it's going to be, but it's going to, again, it's not going to be this ramp. It's going to be a stronger ramp than this. I bought a 2x2 1/4 inch angle iron for the ramp, so we ain't breaking there either. So this has got this strength here. So this is so for tying down. Okay, we need strong here. So I got thick steel here, thick steel there, thin steel here. Again, this is not really that thick. It's 14 gauge, 16 gauge, 14, 16. 16 because we got a short span from here to here. 14 because I got an overspan from here to there. This is 16 down the middle. So that's kind of how I'm running it, if you get it. It's going to be a little bit weaker in this area here. But again, if I'm carrying 2 vehicles on this, they'll be lightweight. And the back tire on the back one is going to be like right here. And the rest is going to hang over the back in order for it to even fit. So, and this is again where all the strength is, right here. It won't be up here, nothing like that. So, unless it's a Beetle, and the Beetle's lightweight. So, anyway, it should be fine. When you got the wood on there, that's going to be screwed in with number 10 self-drillings that I got. So it's going to be, or number 12. I got number 12 self-drillings. So 2 screws on every rafter. It's going to be super strong. I could go 3 if I think I needed to, but I don't think I will. So again, this one's thick, thin. So now, again, why do we do this way? Because we got an end here and then we start, okay? So, but also at the same time, I still haven't got my tie down setup done yet. I don't know what I'm going to use. You know, I was going to use like channel pieces, but man, trying to cut, 30, 40, 50 pieces of channel, I don't know, I'm not into it. So I haven't figured it out yet. But anyway, I could even just hook underneath here and put it in the corner. It'd probably be fine. But then it might be back here. Let's say it is. This is where the strength is. I got double strength here over for that, so that if it is there, it's not going to pull this bar. It's got all that is all one piece pretty much. When it's welded in like that, that's all one strength. So I ended up with angle iron on the bottom on both sides. So that's welded in there. And if you look here, I gusseted this and that so that these are both the same. So this will also help with the vertical weld that I have, the butt weld in there. These will help in the middle here a little bit, kind of gusset it. That will also help the strength of the back part of this. So with those angle iron pieces on there, and there's no way that's moving. So that's how we got it. And the 100,000s, let's look at how it's going to look from the back. So I got this. It looks kind of cool. It doesn't look bad. And then I'm thinking maybe I'll just put the license plate in the middle. I bet it just fit right there. I bet it's only 8 inches. And it's 9. That's 9 inches to the welds here. I just don't want it hanging below because I know I'm going to scrape. So the thing I'm trying to figure out now is if I make ramps, where am I going to put them? So, and have it look good and look right. So I was thinking putting them underneath, it'd be nice and easy to just drop them down and slide them underneath. But then again, I'm going to have something hanging down below that. And I know for sure when I put this on the truck, I'm going to hit, that thing's going to scrape the ground several times. I have hills, just to get out of my driveway is a hill. And it might scrape there, but maybe not. But when I go down the hill from my house, there's a big hill where it goes way down, and I'll swoop to the right just like you do with a lowered car. But it's still, you know, it's still going to scrape. I know it will. So it'll probably scrape every time I go up and down there. That's why I didn't want to make it any more angle than it is. I don't know how much of an angle that is. It's not that much. Yeah, but it's quite a few inches. So, yeah. It lowers it quite a few inches in the back to make it more easy to load. And somebody was wondering, you know, hey, what about the bucket truck being top heavy? And what I was already thinking about too is when it's loaded, I think, I haven't measured yet, but I think these are wider than the fender. So yeah, if these are wider than the fenders, I could drop the outriggers on the bucket truck, or I could move it forward enough to drop just the front ones. I can work this lever right here and drop the front outriggers. Now, what would that do? I will, like, why would you do that? Okay, there's something in loading, if you've carried anything before, load shifting. This is what causes most of these trucks to roll over. If you've seen trucks rolled over, the load sometimes shifted inside, and when it shifted inside, all the weight went over to this side. So every time you go around a corner, right, all your weight starts to go that way. And so if I have suspension on this and I have the wheels locked down, okay, every time I go around a corner, the weight will go that way, the opposite of where I want it to go. Like when you drive your car, you kind of lean to the left when you go left, you know, it's natural. Or if you have, you know, non-cart seats that slide, you want to slide over, you know, that's what your load's going to do. It's going to want to slide over whenever I go the opposite direction you're turning. And that makes it even more tip. So if I have the outriggers down, okay, then it won't be able to do that. The only thing that will do that is the load won't be able to shift. It won't be able to tilt, okay? When it tilts, the weight is way more over there. So if it isn't able to tilt, it will just hold itself better and will actually tow better. So I was already thinking about that. Towing it with the outriggers down would be really easy to do. Just put them down enough to where some of the weight, so it won't shift, you know, and still have it tied to the wheels or whatever. But that's the way I was thinking about it. And again, you guys are new. This is not going to carry more than one of those vehicles. No other vehicle is going to be on this with that. But if I buy two project vehicles that are basically probably going to have no engines or whatever, I can put them on here with the engines in the middle. Okay, there's a lot of ways to do it. But if I brought two project Volkswagens, it's not going to be any kind of vehicle. No Fords, Chevys, no big heavy stuff. Okay, if I brought two of those, I believe this thing could carry that no problem. So that's the whole goal of the trailer was, yeah, since I got a longer trailer than I really need, why shorten it? You know, why not leave it long and make it dual purpose and instead of just doing it once? And because I would like to be able to go across the country, pick up a couple vehicles and bring them back. That's the goal. So all right, so we're going with these tail lights here, these LEDs, and they got this pattern. So I was thinking centered. What do you guys think? Yeah, let's go for that. Centered up. Just gonna eyeball it. How about that? get it real close, get it to this corner or that corner centered. We're going to go with that. All right, so she's all done. I got these all cut out. She'd go in there all right to get the wire. Don't have the wire yet, so anyway, that's how it looks after. Not good. The ramps just slide right in here, and then I'll either, I don't know what I'm gonna do, probably put a little piece of chain or something around them and a lock. And the way I got them set up, they can't fall out this way. So I've got braces on the side, over here, and up there. Even if the ramp got sideways going this way, it couldn't fall out of there. It hits that one. So it doesn't need to have another one. I checked it out real good. There's no possible way. I always got to check every possible way that ramp can come out of there. But if it's chained or locked to the back too, it's not going to go anywhere. So it can bounce up and down a little bit. But it's pretty well locked in with that angle iron. So that locks it in pretty nice. And they're pretty heavy, so they won't bounce around too much, I don't think. Yeah, they're looking good. Yeah, it looks like a nice looking trailer now. All right. That's it for this, guys. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe.